A child's note shattered our Thanksgiving, revealing a grandmother's cruel secret. Evelyn, 60. A widowed mother faced heartbreak in her Montana ranch. The scent of pumpkin pie filled the frosty air, but a hidden truth threatened to tear her family apart. Unlike revenge tales, forgiveness can heal family drama stories. Why was Clara left scrubbing while Lily was favored? Uncover emotional family stories of betrayal and bonds. What secrets have you faced? Join us for Family Secrets Exposed. The Montana ranch stretches under a November sky, frost glazing its golden fields like sugar on a pie crust. Inside the old farmhouse, the kitchen sits hushed, the faint scent of roasted turkey lingering from yesterday's Thanksgiving prep. Pine trees rustle outside their needles, tapping the frosted windows. A single bulb hums above the sink, its light pooling over worn cabinets, a chipped table, and a half-carved pumpkin, its grin frozen in the cold. The air feels thick, as if the walls hold secrets too heavy to breathe. I ease the door open my boots, whispering on the threshold, expecting the warmth of family, the clatter of holiday prep. Instead, I find Clara, my 8-year-old, alone, kneeling on the icy floor. Her small hands clutch a rag, scrubbing at a stubborn stain, her dark hair. Veiling eyes I know are damp. Her breath clouds in the chill, her jeans soaked at the knees. A crumpled note peeks from her pocket, its edges frayed like a secret she's carried too long. She lets the rag fall, curling into my arms. Her body trembles, not just from cold, and I hold her tight, her head under my chin. That note in her pocket brushes my hand, its weight pulling at me. What's she hiding? What's Marjorie hiding? Evelyn Walter's voice rasps from the doorway. My father stands there, flannel coat speckled with frost, his gray eyes dodging mine. We're back. Marjorie's with Lily in the barn. I stand Clara's hand in mine. Why was she alone? Dad scrubbing like a hired hand. He shifts, scratching his neck. Marjorie figured it'd keep her out of trouble. You know her ways. Her ways. My voice spikes brittle. She's 8, not a servant. Clara tugs my sleeve, her fingers icy. It's okay, Mama. I don't mind. But it's not okay. Her need to please to be enough cracks my heart. I stare at Walter waiting, but he mutters about the turkey and shuffles out. The door groans shut, leaving us in the flickering light, the silence heavy. I kneel again, brushing Clara's hair back. You're enough, sweetheart. Always. She nods, but her eyes doubt me. That note feels like a key, a truth I need to unlock. Inside, I'm breaking. Clara's pain is my failure, and it's unbearable. I was so caught up in my own loneliness and keeping peace with my mother's sharp edges that I missed the hurt in my daughter's eyes. This ranch, this supposed home, feels like a cage, its creaks echoing my mistakes. I think of my childhood, invisible in my sister's shadow, and now Clara's living it too. Loneliness isn't just mine, it's hers, a child left scrubbing while others laugh at a fair. I can't let this go on. That note might hold the why, the how of this fracture. Family is supposed to be a bond, a warmth against the cold, but ours is fraying and I've let it. No more hiding. I'll fight for Clara, for us, even if it means facing Marjorie's grief, her walls. Redemption starts here in this dim kitchen with my daughter's hand in mine. I'll find the truth, and we'll heal together. The Montana ranch glows under a late November sun, its golden fields softened by a thin frost that sparkles like spilled sugar. Inside the farmhouse, the dining room hums with Thanksgiving prep, the air thick with the scent of cinnamon and baking dough. The long oak table, scarred from years of family meals, holds a clutter of mixing bowls, a rolling pin, and a tray of half-rolled pie crusts. Windows frame the distant pines, their branches swaying gently while a radio in the corner crackles with faint holiday tunes, barely audible over the clink of dishes. It's the kind of scene that should feel warm whole, but something's off, like a note played out of key. I stand at the table flower, dusting my hands, trying to anchor myself in the rhythm of the holiday. Clara sets out plates nearby, her movements, careful, deliberate, as if she's afraid to make a sound. Her small face is tight, her hazel eyes darting toward the kitchen where Marjorie's voice carries bright and sharp. Lily, darling, that's perfect! Marjorie beams her silver hair, catching the light as she guides Lily's hands to shape a pie crust. You've got a knack for this, just like your grandma. Lily, 10, and all smiles, giggles, her blonde curls bouncing. Can we make another, Grandma? Of course, sweetheart. Marjorie's laugh is warm. A sound I haven't heard in years. She doesn't glance at Clara, doesn't see her pause, her fingers faltering on a plate. Clara's shoulders slump, and she sets the plate down too hard, the clink swallowed by the radio's hum. I catch her eye, but she looks away quick, like she's ashamed of wanting more. Clara want to help with the pies I call keeping my voice light, but it feels forced, like I'm papering over a crack. She shakes her head, barely a motion. "I'm okay, Mama," she murmurs, moving to the next plate. Her words are a shield, and they cut me deep. Not good enough. That's what she feels, what I feel watching my mother pour love into Lily, while Clara's left scraping for scraps. I want to march into that kitchen, demand why, but the weight of keeping peace holds me back. Walter shuffles in from the living room, his flannel shirt rumpled, holding his new smartphone like it's a live grenade. "Evelyn, how do you make this thing send a picture?" he grumbles, squinting at the screen. "I took one of the barn, but it's gone somewhere." I force a smile, grateful for the distraction. "Dad, you probably saved it to the cloud. Here, let me see." He hands it over, muttering, "Cloud my foot." In my day, pictures stayed in albums. Clara glances up, a tiny spark in her eyes, and I catch the ghost of a smile. It's the first I've seen today, and it's a lifeline. "Grandpa, you tap here," Clara says softly, pointing at the screen as I hold it. Her voice is hesitant, but there's a warmth in it, a flicker of connection. Walter chuckles, ruffling her hair. "Smart kid. You'll have to teach your old man a thing or two." For a moment, the room feels lighter, like the family we're supposed to be. But then, Marjorie's voice cuts through again, calling Lily to fetch more flour, and Clara's smile fades. She steps back, her hands twisting together, and the silence between us grows heavy. I hand the phone back to Walter, my throat tight. Why does Marjorie shut her out? What's driving this wedge? "Evelyn, you're burning the crust," Marjorie calls from the kitchen, her tone clipped like I'm the child here. She steps into the dining room, wiping her hands on an apron, her eyes skimming past Clara to me. "Pay attention, or we'll have nothing for tomorrow." I bite back a retort, flour smudging my fingers. "I've got it, Mom," I say, but my voice is tight, betraying the anger simmering beneath. Clara flinches at the edge in my tone, and I hate myself for it. I want to ask about Clara, about the fair, about that note, but the words stick trapped by years of avoiding Marjorie's sharp edges. Lily bounds in, clutching a bag of flour, and Marjorie's face softens again. "Good girl, Lily. Let's get back to it." She turns not a word to Clara, not a glance. Clara watches them go, her hands still, her eyes fixed on the floor. It's a silent scene, her hurt laid bare, and it breaks me. The question rips through me, and I choke back a sob. "You did nothing," I say, fierce. "Nothing at all. This is her, not you." I hold her tighter, but my mind drifts unbidden to my own childhood. I was 12, standing in the same kitchen, watching Marjorie clutch Ellen's photo, her eyes blind to me. "You're not her," she'd said once sharp when I spilled her coffee, and the sting of being unwanted, of being less settled deep. That abandonment, that loneliness shaped me, and now it's shaping Clara, a cycle I swore I'd break. Marjorie's voice creaks from the doorway, thin and tired. "Evelyn, what's this about?" She stands there, her robe loose. Her silver hair tangled her face, pale in the lamplight. She looks older, frail, her hands trembling as she grips the frame, and I realize she's not well, her health fraying under the weight of her grief. "Mom, not now," I say, my voice flat, shielding Clara. "Go back to bed." Marjorie's eyes narrow, but there's no fire in them, only exhaustion. "You're always so dramatic," she mutters, her voice brittle. Clara's fine. Fine. I stand my anger flaring, but I keep my voice low for Clara's sake. "You called Lily your real granddaughter. You think that's fine?" Marjorie's face pales, her hands tightening on the frame, but she doesn't answer. She turns away, dismissing us, and shuffles back to her room, her steps unsteady. Clara watches, her eyes wide, and I see the hurt deep in a wound I can't soothe. "Clara, look at me," I say, kneeling again. "You're my heart." Nothing she says changes that. She nods, tears spilling, and hugs me, her small arms fierce. I hold her the note burning in my pocket and feel the weight of her abandonment, her loneliness in this house. Why does Marjorie favor Lily? What's driving this cruelty? Inside, I'm unraveling the sadness of Clara's pain, my own past swallowing me whole. I see myself at her age, invisible in Marjorie's grief, and now my daughter's living that same rejection. Loneliness isn't just hers. It's mine, a mother failing to shield her child. I think of Marjorie's trembling hands, her pale face, and realize she's lonely too, trapped in her loss, but it's no excuse. I'm angry, but it's drowned in grief for the family we could have been, for the love Clara's owed. I can't let this break her break us. Resilience is what keeps me here, holding Clara despite the pain. Compassion might reach Marjorie, might heal this rift, but it starts with action. I'll protect Clara, confront Marjorie's truth, and find a way through no matter how hard. We're family, and I'll fight for that with every breath I have. The Montana ranch slumbers under a snowy dawn, its fields blanketed in a hush that feels both peaceful and oppressive. Inside the farmhouse, the kitchen lies still, its tiled floor cold underfoot, the air faintly sour with last night's cranberry sauce. A single lamp burns on the counter, its light pooling over the heirloom ring left on the table like a forgotten promise. The fireplace is ash now, its warmth a memory, and the windows frame a gray sky heavy with more snow. The silence is a weight pressing down on the secrets laid bare by Clara's note. I stand by the window, staring at the falling snow, my fingers curled around the crumpled note in my pocket. Clara's words. Grandma said Lily's her real granddaughter, not me, echo in my mind, each syllable a fresh wound. Clara's upstairs asleep after last night's tears, but I can't rest, not with this betrayal burning through me. Marjorie's favoritism, her cruel dismissal of my daughter, has cracked something fundamental, and I'm drowning in the fallout. Clara shuffles in her nightgown, trailing her hazel eyes puffy from crying. She pauses by the table alone in the dim light, her small frame curling inward as she touches the ring. It's a silent scene, her loneliness laid bare, and it breaks me. She doesn't see me yet, and I watch frozen as she whispers something to the ring, her voice too soft to hear. The abandonment in her posture, the way she seems to shrink, mirrors a pain I know too well. Clara. My voice is soft, heavy with the night's weight. She startles her hand, jerking back from the ring. Mama, she says, her voice small. I didn't mean to wake you. You didn't, I say, crossing to her, my slippers whispering on the floor. I kneel, pulling her close, her body tense against mine. I'm here, sweetheart, always. She nods, but her eyes are distant, haunted by Marjorie's words. Why doesn't Grandma want me? She whispers, her voice breaking. What did I do? The question rips through me, and I choke back a sob. You did nothing, I say, fierce. Nothing at all. This is her, not you. I hold her tighter, but my mind drifts unbidden to my own childhood. I was 12, standing in this same kitchen, watching Marjorie clutch Ellen's photo, her eyes blind to me. You're not her, she'd said once sharp when I spilled her coffee, and the sting of being unwanted, of being less settled deep. That abandonment, that loneliness shaped me, and now it's shaping Clara, a cycle I swore I'd break. Marjorie's voice creaks from the doorway, thin and tired. Evelyn, what's this about? She stands there, her robe loose, her silver hair tangled, her face pale in the lamplight. She looks older, frail, her hands trembling as she grips the frame, and I realize she's not well, her health fraying under the weight of her grief. Mom, not now, I say, my voice flat, shielding Clara. Go back to bed. Marjorie's eyes narrow, but there's no fire in them, only exhaustion. You're always so dramatic, she mutters, her voice brittle. Clara's fine. Fine. I stand, my anger flaring, but I keep my voice low for Clara's sake. You called Lily your real granddaughter. You think that's fine? Marjorie's face pales, her hands tightening on the frame, but she doesn't answer. She turns away, dismissing us, and shuffles back to her room, her steps unsteady. Clara watches, her eyes wide, and I see the hurt deep in a wound I can't soothe. Clara, look at me, I say, kneeling again. You're my heart. Nothing, she says, changes that. She nods, tears spilling, and hugs me, her small arms fierce. I hold her the note burning in my pocket and feel the weight of her abandonment, her loneliness in this house. Why does Marjorie favor Lily? What's driving this cruelty? Inside, I'm unraveling the sadness of Clara's pain, my own past swallowing me whole. I see myself at her age, invisible in Marjorie's grief, and now my daughter's living that same rejection. Loneliness isn't just hers. It's mine, a mother failing to shield her child. I think of Marjorie's trembling hands, her pale face, and realize she's lonely too, trapped in her loss. But it's no excuse. I'm angry, but it's drowned in grief for the family we could have been, for the love Clara's owed. I can't let this break her, break us. Resilience is what keeps me here, holding Clara despite the pain. Compassion might reach, Marjorie might heal this rift, but it starts with action. I'll protect Clara, confront Marjorie's truth, and find a way through no matter how hard. We're family, and I'll fight for that with every breath I have. The Montana ranch glows faintly under a November evening sky, its snow-draped fields softening into dusk's quiet embrace. Inside the farmhouse, the living room is bathed in the warm flicker of a fireplace, its crackling embers casting shadows across the worn rug and faded armchairs. The air carries a hint of wood smoke and the distant sweetness of cranberry sauce, a reminder of tomorrow's Thanksgiving potluck. A photo of Ellen, my sister, sits on the mantel, her smile frozen in time, watching over us like a silent guardian. The room feels alive with memory, but heavy with the weight of unspoken pain. I sit on the couch, my hands clasped tight. The crumpled note from Clara still in my pocket, its words, Grandma said lilies, her real granddaughter burning like a brand. Clara's upstairs tucked in after her tears, and I'm here grappling with the abandonment she feels the same ache I carried as a child. Marjorie's frail figure from this morning, her trembling hands lingers in my mind, and I wonder if her grief is the key to this fracture. Marjorie enters her robe loose, her silver hair catching the firelight as she eases into an armchair. She's pale, her eyes shadowed, but there's a stubborn set to her jaw like she's bracing for a fight. She touches the heirloom ring on the coffee table, her fingers lingering on its silver vines, and I see a flicker of something sorrow, maybe, or longing. Mom, I say, my voice soft but steady, we need to talk about Clara, about what she heard. Marjorie's hand freezes, her eyes narrowing. Evelyn, I told you she's fine, she says, her voice thin, brittle. You're blowing this out of proportion. I lean forward, the note heavy in my pocket. She heard you call Lily your real granddaughter, I say, keeping my tone even. She wrote it down, Mom. She's been carrying it, thinking you don't love her. Marjorie's face crumples just for a moment before she looks away, her hands clenching the ring. She misunderstood, she murmurs, but her voice wavers, betraying her. Kids do that. Then, explain it, I press, my heart aching. Why Lily? Why not Clara? The fire snaps, filling the silence, and Marjorie's gaze drifts to Ellen's photo. I'm pulled back unbidden to a winter night 30 years ago. This same room, Marjorie sobbing over Ellen's hospital bed, her voice raw. My girl, my only girl. I was 12, hovering in the doorway, invisible, my own grief swallowed by hers. Ellen's death broke her, and I see it now, Lily with her blonde curls, her laugh, a mirror of Ellen at that age, a surrogate to fill the void. Mom, is it because of Ellen? I ask, my voice barely above a whisper. Is that why you're so close to Lily? Marjorie's eyes snap to mine, wet and wide, and for the first time I see her, not the cold matriarch, but a mother drowning in loss. You don't know what it's like, she says, her voice cracking. Losing her. It's a hole that never fills. Lily, she's so like her Evelyn. I can't help it. I swallow hard, empathy flooding me warm and painful. I lost her, too, I say, my voice thick. But Clara's here, Mom. She's your granddaughter and she's hurting. Marjorie's tears spill silent, and she grips the ring, her knuckles white. I don't mean to hurt her, she whispers, her voice raw. I see Ellen in Lily, and it's like having her back. I reach for her hand, my fingers brushing hers, and she doesn't pull away. I know, I say, tears in my eyes. But Clara needs you. We need you. Walter shuffles in his phone in hand, muttering. Evelyn, this video call's gone haywire again, he says, oblivious to the moment. Keeps freezing on Mrs. Harlan's cat. I manage a weak smile, the interruption a brief lightness. Dad tapped the screen twice, I say, and he huffs, retreating to the corner, his grumbling a soft backdrop. Marjorie wipes her eyes, her face softening, but she doesn't speak. The ring glints between us, a symbol of family of wounds unhealed. Will she open up fully or retreat again? The question hangs unanswered in the firelight. Inside, I'm stirred by empathy, seeing Marjorie's grief, her loneliness for the first time. I've been so caught in Clara's pain, my own, that I missed hers, a mother trapped in a loss that never fades. I think of my own silence, my years of resentment, and realize we're all lonely here, reaching for connection in the wrong ways. Her love for Lily isn't hate for Clara. It's a desperate grasp at a past she can't reclaim. but it's not enough. Clara deserves more, and I'll keep pushing gently for her. Forgiveness is the only way to ease these wounds. I can't erase Marjorie's grief, but I can help her see Clara help us heal. I'll keep talking, keep listening, even if it's hard. Family is worth it, and I'll hold us together one honest word at a time. The Montana ranch sparkles under a bright morning sun, its snow-draped fields stretching toward clear, endless skies, a canvas of hope after last night's heavy truths. Inside the farmhouse, the kitchen hums with quiet purpose, the air laced with the warm scent of fresh coffee brewing on the counter. The tiled floor gleams the heirloom ring resting on the table, its silver vines catching the light like a promise of renewal. Windows frame the vast plains, and the distant pines stand tall, whispering of resilience. The house feels alive, poised on the edge of change, but my heart's still tangled, Marjorie's grief raw in my mind. I lean against the counter, sipping coffee, the mug warm in my hands. Clara's note a weight in my pocket. Her words. Grandma said, "Lily's her real granddaughter," sting less now, softened by Marjorie's tears last night, her confession about Ellen. But the why still gnaws. Why Clara's exclusion? Why this deep divide? Clara's at the table, sketching with Lily, their laughter, a fragile bridge. But I'm braced for it to crack. Walter shuffles in his flannel shirt, rumpled, his gray eyes heavy with something unspoken. He pours coffee, his hands steady but slow, and I notice the lines etched deeper in his face, the weight of years unspoken. He's been quiet, dodging our fights, but today he lingers, his gaze fixed on Clara. "Evelyn," he says, his voice low. "Rough got a minute." I nod, setting my mug down, my pulse quickening. "Sure, Dad. What's up?" He glances at Clara and Lily, then gestures to the porch. I follow the cold air biting as we step outside, the snow crunching under my boots. The clear Montana skies stretch wide, a stark contrast to the storm inside me. Walter leans against the railing, his coffee steaming, his eyes distant. "I owe you an apology," he says, his voice barely above the wind. "For Clara. For all of it." I freeze, surprise washing over me. "Dad, what do you mean?" He sighs, rubbing his neck, and the words spill out raw and halting. I knew how Marjorie felt about Lily, about Ellen. I saw it years ago when Lily was born, same curls, same laugh. I let her lean into it, thinking it'd heal her. But I hid it from you, from Clara, to keep the peace. I was wrong. The confession hits like a gust, sharp and unexpected. Walter, the quiet one, the peacemaker, carrying this guilt, shielding Marjorie's pain at Clara's expense. His passivity wasn't weakness, it was protection misguided, but real. I see him now lonely in his silence, bearing the weight of Marjorie's grief to spare us. "You knew." My voice shakes, anger flaring but softening as his eyes meet mine, wet and pleading. "Why didn't you stop her, Dad?" "Clara's been hurting." "I tried," he says, his voice cracking. "But Marjorie, she's fragile, Evelyn. Losing Ellen broke her, and I couldn't lose her too. I thought Clara was strong like you. I was wrong." I swallow hard, empathy flooding me warm and heavy. "Clara's strong," I say, my voice thick, "but she's a child. She needed you, both of you." Walter nods, tears spilling, and he reaches for my hand, his grip rough but firm. "I'll make it right," he says, fierce. "For Clara, I promise." I squeeze his hand, the cold air sharp in my lungs, and we stand there, the skies clear above us, a moment of truth binding us. Back inside, Clara looks up, her smile hesitant, and I see the ring glinting, a symbol of family flawed but fighting. Can I forgive Marjorie knowing this? The question lingers unanswered as we head back to the warmth. Inside, I'm reeling Walter's confession, a shock that shifts everything. His guilt, his loneliness mirror my own, a father trying to hold a fractured family together just as I am. I think of Clara's pain, Marjorie's grief, and realize we're all lonely, hiding our truths to protect each other. Walter's honesty cracks that open a painful but necessary light. I'm angry, but it's tempered by empathy, seeing his love, his failure, his resolve to change. Clara deserves that change, and I'll hold him to it. Honesty is the foundation of trust. And Walter's truth, hard as it is, rebuilds a piece of ours. I'll use it to push for justice, not with vengeance, but with dialogue to heal Clara's hurt, to mend us. Marjorie's next, and I'll face her with this truth, ready or not. The Montana ranch buzzes with life under a crisp November noon, its snow-dusted fields gleaming in the sun as neighbors gather for the Thanksgiving potluck. Inside the farmhouse, the dining room brims with warmth, the long oak table groaning under platters of cornbread, green bean casserole, and a golden turkey, its steam curling in the air. Laughter and chatter fill the space, mingling with the clink of glasses and the soft hum of holiday tunes from a radio. The windows frame the plains where kids chase each other in the snow, their shouts a joyful backdrop. It's a scene of community of belonging, but my heart's a tight knot. Walter's confession still raw. Clara's note. A fire in my pocket. I stand by the table arranging napkins, my hands busy to mask the storm inside. Clara hovers near Lily, their heads bent over a shared plate, but her hazel eyes flick to Marjorie, wary, searching. Marjorie moves slowly, setting out pies, her silver hair neat but her face pale, her hands trembling, a sign of her faltering health, a weight I've carried silently. Walter's at the door, greeting Mrs. Harlan, his smile strained after our porch talk, his promise to make things right for Clara echoing in my ears. The room's full, but I feel alone, the weight of Marjorie's favoritism, her grief pressing down. Evelyn, the cornbread's a hit, Mrs. Harlan calls her smile wide, oblivious to the tension. I nod, forcing a smile, but my eyes lock on Marjorie, who's glancing at Lily, her gaze soft, exclusive. The shared glances, the ones that shut Clara out, are too much, and the note, Lily's her real granddaughter, burns hotter, demanding truth. I set the napkins down, my hands shaking, and step toward Marjorie, my voice cutting through the chatter. Mom, we need to talk. Now. The room quiets, heads turning, and Clara freezes her fork halfway to her mouth. Marjorie stiffens her pie tin, clattering. Evelyn, this isn't the place, she hisses, her eyes darting to the neighbors, her need for control flaring. It's exactly the place, I say, my voice steady but loud, a high-stakes moment I can't back down from. You called Lily your real granddaughter. Clara heard you. Why push her away? Gasps ripple through the room, and Mrs. Harlan's hand flies to her mouth. Clara's eyes widen, her face pale, and Lily looks confused, clutching her plate. Marjorie's face drains of color, her hands gripping the table, her knuckles white. You're twisting things, she says, her voice low, trembling. I never meant. You meant it, I cut in, my anger spilling over, tempered by pain. Clara's been hurting Mom. You've made her feel like nothing, and I need to know why. Walter steps forward, his voice urgent. Evelyn, let's take this. No, Dad. I say, my eyes on Marjorie. She answers now. The room holds its breath, the radio's tune a faint hum. Marjorie's eyes meet mine, and I see it, fear, shame, grief all colliding. She glances at Lily, then Clara, and her shoulders sag, tears welling. I didn't mean to hurt her, she says, her voice breaking raw. Lily, she's so like Ellen, my Ellen. I see her, and it's like she's not gone. I got lost in that. The confession hangs a truth laid bare, and the room softens, neighbors, murmuring, their faces kind. Clara's eyes shimmer, and I cross to her, my hand on her shoulder, grounding her. Clara's your granddaughter, too, I say, my voice thick. She's here, Mom. She needs you. Marjorie nods, tears streaming, and reaches for the heirloom ring on the table, offering it to me, her hand trembling. I know, she whispers. I'm sorry, Clara. I'm so sorry. I take the ring, it's silver warm, and pass it to Clara, who slips it on her finger, steady now. The neighbors clap softly, a wave of support, and Mrs. Harlan wipes her eyes, smiling. Walter nods at me, his promise kept, and I feel relief, a weight lifting, though the rift isn't fully healed. Marjorie's health, her frailty tugs at me. She's been hiding her weakness, and I've been too angry to see it. We'll get you help, Mom, I say softly, and she nods, her face open, vulnerable. Inside, I'm unsteady, the anger draining into relief. But the pain lingers. Marjorie's confession, her loneliness, her clinging to Ellen through Lily explains so much. But Clara's hurt is real, a wound we're only starting to mend. I think of my own silence, my years of resentment, and see we're all lonely, reaching for connection in broken ways. This moment, this truth is a start, but it's fragile. The community's warmth, their claps reminds me we're not alone, that justice comes through dialogue, through facing the hard truths together. Community and justice hold us now in this crowded room with cornbread and tears. Dialogue has cracked open the truth, and it's our path forward. I'll keep talking, keep fighting for Clara for us, even if reconciliation takes time. We're family, and this is our strength, our hope. The Montana ranch rests under a gentle Thanksgiving Day sky, its snow-covered fields glowing softly in the late afternoon light, a quiet promise of renewal. Inside the farmhouse, the dining room radiates warmth, the oak table set with a feast, a golden turkey steaming mashed potatoes, and a pumpkin pie centerpiece, its spiced aroma weaving through the air. Candlelight flickers casting a golden glow over the scarred wood, and the windows frame the falling snow, its soft tapping a soothing rhythm against the panes. The room hums with the chatter of family, a fragile harmony after weeks of rifts, but my heart holds steady, buoyed by the hope of healing. I stand by the table, smoothing a napkin, my fingers brushing the heirloom ring, now back on Clara's finger, its silver vines a symbol of our tangled, mended bonds. Clara sits beside Lily, their laughter mingling as they trade cranberry sauce. Their faces bright with the joy I've missed. Marjorie's at the head, her silver hair soft, her face less pale today, a hint of strength returning after our potluck confrontation. Walter's beside her, his gray eyes warm, his promise to Clara kept through his quiet support. The note Lily's, her real granddaughter, is folded away, its pain softened by Marjorie's tears. Walter's confession and my own realization assumed from Chapter 11 that my resentment fueled our divide. "Everyone ready?" I ask, my voice warm, carrying over the clatter of forks. I take my seat, the chair creaking, and feel the weight of this moment, our first true Thanksgiving together in years. Marjorie raises her glass, her hand steady, her eyes meeting mine, then Clara's. "To family," she says, her voice soft but clear. "To..." Starting again. "To family," we echo, glasses clinking, and Clara's smile, wide and unguarded, lights the room. I catch Marjorie's glance, a shared look of understanding, and feel the rift closing, not fully healed, but mending. "Pass the pie!" Walter grumbles, his tone playful, and Lily giggles, slicing a generous wedge, the crust flaking golden. Clara hands it to Marjorie, their fingers brushing, and Marjorie's smile is genuine, a warmth I haven't seen in her for years. The act of sharing pie, simple yet profound, binds us our signature moment, a quiet vow to hold each other close. "Clara, you helped make this, didn't you?" Marjorie asks, her voice gentle, and Clara nods, her cheeks pink. "Lily, too," Clara says, glancing at her cousin, and Lily beams the ring, glinting as they laugh. The snow taps the window, a soft trigger, grounding me in this moment. This family, this hope. "Let's carve the turkey," I say, standing, the knife gleaming. Walter joins me, his hand steady, and we slice together the meat, falling in tender layers, a ritual of unity. The room fills with chatter, Marjorie asking Clara about school, Lily telling a story, neighbors' voices from yesterday's potluck echoing in my mind, a community that held us through our truth. Later, as plates empty, I slip to the sideboard, pulling out a letter I wrote last night, my words to Clara, inked with love. I hand it to her, my fingers trembling. "For you," I say, my voice thick. "Read it when you're ready." Clara takes it, her eyes curious, and tucks it into her pocket, her smile a promise to hold it close. I sit, my heart full, the snow's rhythm a lullaby of peace. Inside, I'm awash in hope. The loneliness that once defined us, Clara's, Marjorie's, mine, fading in this shared light. I think of our journey. The notes sting, Marjorie's grief, Walter's guilt, my own resentment, and see how dialogue, raw and real, brought us here. I remember Ellen, her absence a shadow, but no longer a wall. Clara's laughter, Marjorie's softness, Walter's steadiness, they're my family, flawed but whole. I've fought for this for us, and it's enough. Family bonds are our strength, our compass through pain. Compassion has healed us not perfectly, but deeply, and this table, this pie, this moment is our peace. Reconciliation is a choice, a work we'll keep doing, but today it's ours, a gift I'll cherish. I'm home with Clara, with them, and that's all I need. As we share pumpkin pie, Clara's laughter fills the Montana farmhouse, a beacon of hope after our rifts. Forgiveness healed us, resilience mended our bonds, and open dialogue rebuilt trust. Compassion taught us to see each other's pain, even Marjorie's grief-driven favoritism. Love endures through understanding. Like us, you faced family loneliness, caregiving's weight. Reflect on your family's story, and let hope guide you home. Clara, sweetheart, my voice catches barely a murmur. She stiffens fingers, tightening on the rag, but her eyes stay down. Almost done, Mama, she says, her voice small, rehearsed. I cross the room, heart hammering, and drop to my knees beside her, the cold biting through my jeans. Her hands are red raw from soap too small for this work. Where's Grandpa? I ask, my words sharper than I mean. They took Lily to the fair, Clara mumbles, still avoiding my gaze. Grandma said I had to clean first. The words sting like frostbite. Lily, my cousin's girl, the one Marjorie calls her real granddaughter with a smile she never spares for Clara. I see it now, my mother's eyes lighting up for Lily, her voice warm, while Clara gets chores silence or a curt nod. It's not just favoritism. It's a wound carved deep by Marjorie's grief, her need to cling to someone who isn't my sister's ghost. Anger flares, but guilt cuts deeper. How did I let this happen? Clara, look at me. I touch her shoulder, soft but steady. She lifts her head, and her hazel eyes hold a pain no child should know. You don't have to do this. Come here. Inside, I'm sinking. I'm not enough. Not for Clara, not for this family. I see myself in her, the girl who tried so hard to win Marjorie's approval, only to fade into my sister's shadow. That old ache. The loneliness of never measuring up creeps back, and I wonder if Clara feels it too, a child ignored in a house full of people. I should be her shield, her voice. But I'm failing, caught in my own doubts, my fear of rocking this fragile boat. Why can't I just ask? Why can't I demand answers? The question burns, but the answer's out of reach, hidden in Marjorie's glances and Clara's silence. Family is supposed to be a bond, a strength, but ours is unraveling, and I'm letting it. I can't keep pretending everything's fine, not when Clara's hurting, not when I'm hurting, too. I need to hold us together to fight for the unity we've lost. I'll start small with questions, with listening, even if it means facing truths I'm not ready for. Clara deserves that. We both do. The Montana ranch wakes under a crisp morning sun, its fields dusted with fresh snow that glints like scattered pearls. Inside the farmhouse, the kitchen bustles with Thanksgiving prep, the air rich with the tang of cranberries simmering on the stove. The worn countertops are strewn with cutting boards, a bowl of chopped onions, and a pie tin waiting for its crust. Sunlight streams through the window, catching the dust motes dancing above the sink, where a faucet drips in a steady, lonesome rhythm. It's a scene that should hum with holiday cheer, but the undercurrent of tension pulls tight like a string about to snap. I stand at the counter, slicing apples, the knife's rhythm, a small anchor in the storm brewing inside me. Clara hovers near the table, polishing an heirloom ring, my grandmother's a delicate silver band etched with vines that Marjorie handed her yesterday with a curt, "Don't lose it." Clara's fingers work carefully, her dark hair falling over her face, hiding the hurt I know lingers from last night's neglect. She's too quiet, too small for this big, noisy kitchen, and it twists my heart. Marjorie bustles in from the pantry, her apron dusted with flour, her silver hair pulled tight in a bun. "Evelyn, those apples need to be thinner," she says, barely glancing at me. "We can't have lumpy pie tomorrow." I grip the knife harder, my jaw tight. "They're fine, Mom," I say, but the words come out sharper than I mean. Clara's head jerks up, her eyes flicking between us, and I force a softer tone. "Clara, why don't you help me with these?" She shakes her head, clutching the ring. "I'm almost done," she murmurs, her voice barely above the faucet's drip. She retreats to the corner, her small frame curling inward, and I feel the distance grow a chasm I can't bridge. "Marjorie, can we talk?" I set the knife down, wiping my hands on my jeans. "About Clara, about yesterday." Marjorie stiffens her hands, pausing over a bowl of dough. "What's there to talk about?" Her tone is clipped defensive, like she's already built a wall. "She's fine. Kids need chores." "Chores?" My voice rises despite myself. "She was scrubbing the floor alone while you took Lily to the fair." "That's not fine." Clara flinches, her fingers tightening on the ring, and I hate that she's hearing this, but I can't stop. Marjorie's eyes narrow, her mouth a thin line. "Don't tell me how to raise a child, Evelyn. I managed you, didn't I?" The words sting, dragging up memories of my own childhood, always in the shadow of my sister Ellen gone too soon. Marjorie's grief locked her heart, leaving me scrambling for her love. Now Clara's paying the same price, and it's unbearable. "This isn't about me," I say, my voice shaking. "It's about Clara. Why do you treat her like she's invisible? Marjorie slams the bowl down, flour puffing into the air. I treat her like family, she snaps. You're making a mountain out of nothing. Nothing. I step closer, my hands trembling. She's hurting, Mom. Can't you see that? Walter shuffles in his boots, heavy on the floor, sensing the storm. Now, let's not spoil the day, he says, his gray eyes pleading. We've got the potluck to plan, neighbors coming tomorrow. I turn on him, frustration spilling over. Dad, don't. She needs to answer this. Clara slips the ring onto her finger, her hands shaking, and backs toward the door. I'm sorry, she whispers, barely audible, and my heart cracks. She shouldn't feel sorry for existing. Marjorie exhales, her shoulders sagging. Enough, Evelyn. We'll talk later. Not now. She turns back to the dough, dismissing me, but her hands tremble, betraying something guilt, maybe, or pain. I want to push to demand answers. But Clara's eyes stop me wide and scared. I nod, swallowing my anger, an uneasy truce settling over us. Fine, I mutter, picking up the knife again, its blade catching the light. Inside, I'm drowning in sadness. Clara's pain mirrors mine, the ache of never being enough for Marjorie, of losing Ellen's light. I was 12 when she died, and Marjorie's love seemed to die with her, leaving me alone in this house, just like Clara now. Loneliness isn't just my burden. It's hers, a child polishing a ring to feel seen. I'm failing her too, caught in my own hurt to protect her fully. Why can't I break through? Why does Marjorie's grief still rule us? But there's a flicker of hope in this mess. Clara's here breathing, needing me. I can't fix the past, but I can fight for her present. Compassion might soften, this might reach Marjorie where anger can't. I'll keep asking, keep listening, even if it hurts. Family isn't just blood. It's the work of holding each other close, and I won't let go. The Montana ranch sits heavy under a darkening November sky, its fields cloaked in a thin veil of snow that muffles the world. Inside the farmhouse, the dining room feels stifled, the air thick with the lingering scent of burnt pie crust and unspoken words. The oak table, still cluttered with bowls and flour, reflects the glow of a single lamp, its light harsh against the paneled walls. Outside, the wind howls, rattling the windows, as if urging the secrets in this house to break free. The holiday warmth of Thanksgiving prep has curdled, leaving a tension that presses against my chest. I clear the table, stacking plates with a clatter, trying to steady the anger boiling inside me. Clara sits in the corner, her small hands fidgeting with the heirloom ring, her eyes fixed on the floor. She's been quieter since the kitchen argument, her face pale, and I notice the note, that crumpled paper from yesterday, still peeking from her pocket, its edges more frayed. She catches me looking and tucks it deeper, her fingers trembling. What's she protecting? The question gnaws at me, sharp and insistent. Marjorie's in the kitchen, her voice low, talking to Lily about tomorrow's potluck. I hear Lily's giggle, bright and carefree, and it stings. Clara hasn't laughed like that in days. Walter's out in the barn avoiding the storm brewing here, but I can't wait for him to play peacemaker. I need answers, and I need them now. Clara, stay here, I say softly, touching her shoulder. She nods, her eyes wide, and I head to the living room where the fire crackles, casting shadows on the worn rug. Walter's just come in his boots, leaving wet tracks, his face lined with unease. Dad, we need to talk. My voice is low, but it shakes with the weight of yesterday's discovery, Clara, scrubbing alone while they fawned over Lily. Why does Mom treat Clara like she doesn't matter? Walter shifts his hands, fumbling with his coat. Evelyn, don't stir things up, he says, his voice gruff. Marjorie's got her ways. Clara's fine. Fine. I step closer, my hands clenched. She's 8, Dad, and she's hurting. You saw her yesterday scrubbing that floor. Why didn't you stop it? He looks away, rubbing his neck. It's not my place to argue with your mother. She's been through enough. Enough? My voice rises, cracking. What about Clara? What about me? We're your family too. The doorbell chimes sharp and jarring, cutting through the room like a knife. Walter seizes the excuse, moving past me. That'll be Mrs. Harlan with her casserole, he mutters, heading for the door. I follow, my pulse racing, and find Marjorie already there, ushering in Mrs. Harlan, a neighbor, with a warm smile and a foil-covered dish. Lily trails behind, clutching a drawing, her eyes bright. Clara slips into the room, hovering near the stairs. The note still hidden her face, a mask of quiet fear. Evelyn, help with this, Marjorie snaps, thrusting the casserole at me, her eyes avoiding mine. Mrs. Harlan chats about the potluck, oblivious to the tension, but I can't hold back anymore. "Mom, we're not done," I say, setting the dish down hard on the sideboard. My voice carries, and Mrs. Harlan pauses, her smile faltering. "Why do you favor Lily? Why leave Clara behind?" Marjorie's face tightens, her hands gripping her apron, her knuckles white. "This isn't the time," she hisses, her eyes flicking to Mrs. Harlan, who shifts awkwardly. "You're making a scene." "I want a scene," I say, my voice trembling but firm. "Clara deserves better than your chores and your silence. What are you hiding?" "Why her?" Clara gasps softly, her hand clutching the note, and I regret dragging her into this, but the truth can't wait. Marjorie's eyes blaze, but there's something else, fear maybe, or shame, a crack in her control. "You don't know what you're talking about," she says, her voice low, venomous. "Drop it, Evelyn." Walter steps between us, his hands raised. "Enough, both of you," he says, but his voice lacks strength, his eyes pleading. Mrs. Harlan mumbles an excuse and hurries out, the doorbell chiming again as the door shuts. The room falls silent, save for the fire's crackle and the wind's moan outside. Clara backs toward the stairs, her eyes wide, and I know she's hiding something. The note, a secret I need to understand. Marjorie turns away, her shoulders rigid, her control fraying like that note in Clara's pocket. Inside, I'm burning with anger, but it's tangled with loneliness, the kind that comes from years of being unseen in this house. Marjorie's refusal to answer her way of keeping control feels like a betrayal, not just of Clara, but of me. I see her fear now, her need to hold tight to Lily, as if letting go would unravel her. But why? What's driving her to push Clara away? I think of Clara's note, her trembling hands, and wonder if it holds the key to this fracture. I'm failing her, too afraid to push harder, but I can't back down. I need the truth, even if it breaks us. Positive justice means facing the truth no matter how raw it is. I've let Marjorie's silence rule too long, let my own loneliness keep me quiet. But Clara's pain is real, and it demands answers. I'll keep pushing for her, for us, even if it means tearing through the walls of this house to find them. The truth is our only way forward, and I won't stop until it's ours. The Montana ranch breathes softly under a mid-morning November glow, its snow-dusted fields catching the sun like a quilt spread wide. Inside the farmhouse, the kitchen hums with warmth, the air thick with the sweet tart scent of cranberry sauce bubbling on the stove. The countertops, worn smooth by years of family meals, brim with jars of sugar, a basket of oranges, and a tray of freshly rolled pie crusts. A fireplace crackles in the corner, its glow dancing across the tiled floor, chasing the chill from yesterday's storm. It's a scene that wraps you in holiday promise, but my heart's still braced, waiting for the next fracture. I stand at the stove stirring the cranberries, the wooden spoon steady in my hand as I try to hold on to the calm. Clara kneels by the table, shaping dough with careful fingers, her dark hair tucked behind her ears. She's quieter than usual, but there's a spark in her hazel eyes, a flicker of lightness after last night's clash. The heirloom ring glints on her finger, a silver vine catching the firelight, and I wonder if it feels like a tether to this family or just another weight. Marjorie bustles in from the dining room, her apron crisp, her silver hair looser today, framing her face in soft waves. She pauses by Clara, and I tense, expecting a sharp word. Instead, she nods, almost gentle. "That's nice work, Clara," she says, her voice softer than I've heard in days. "We'll need those pies for the potluck." Clara's face lights up, a smile breaking through small but real, and it's like the sun peeking from clouds. "Thanks, Grandma," she whispers, her hands pausing dough, clinging to her fingers. My breath catches. Could this be a turning point? "Mom, you mean it?" I ask, keeping my tone light, but my eyes search hers. "Clara's part of this, right? All of it." Marjorie meets my gaze, and for a moment I see something, regret maybe, or exhaustion. "Of course," she says, her voice firm but not harsh. "We're family, Evelyn. Everyone's included tomorrow." I want to believe her, to let this promise mend the cracks, but doubt lingers heavy as the steam rising from the pot. Marjorie's promises have faltered before her grief, a wall that shuts us out. Clara's smile, though, pulls me toward hope, and I nod, stirring the sauce, its ruby glow a small comfort. "Let's make another pie," Clara says, her voice braver now, and she passes the ring to Lily, who's joined us, her blonde curls bouncing. Lily giggles, slipping it on, and the two girls laugh, their hands dusted with flour. It's a moment I want to freeze this glimpse of unity, but I'm still waiting for the catch. Walter shuffles in, clutching his smartphone, his brow furrowed like he's wrestling a bear. "Evelyn, this blasted thing's at it again," he grumbles, tapping the screen. I tried sending a recipe to Mrs. Harlan, and now it's all ads for turkey basters. I can't help but chuckle, the sound easing the knot in my chest. "Dad, you probably clicked a pop-up," I say, taking the phone. "Let's fix it." Clara leans over, her smile widening. "Grandpa, you gotta tap, gently," she says, guiding his finger. "Like this." Walter huffs, but his eyes twinkle. "You're gonna make me a tech whiz yet, kid." Clara's grin is a gift, and I hold it close, a reminder of why I'm here. Marjorie watches her hands still for once, and I catch a flicker in her eyes. Something soft, but guarded. "We'll all pitch in tomorrow," she says, almost to herself. "Potluck's a big day." She turns back to the counter, slicing oranges, her movements precise but heavy, like she's carrying more than fruit. I stir the sauce, the spoon scraping the pot, and feel the weight of her words. Is she trying, or is this another mask? Clara's laughter with Lily, the ring passing between them, feels like a fragile bridge, but I'm not sure it'll hold. I want to trust Marjorie's promise to believe we're a family, but the note Clara hid her trembling hands last night whispered doubts I can't shake. Inside, I'm torn between hope and fear. Clara's smile is a lifeline, but I've seen it fade too many times, snuffed out by Marjorie's coldness. I'm lonely in this crowded house, aching for the family we could be, but I'm not sure I'm strong enough to hold us together. I think of my own failures, the times I let Marjorie's grief silence me, and wonder if I'm failing Clara now, grasping at a promise that might crumble. But her laughter, her spark keeps me going. I have to try to believe in this moment, even if it's fleeting. Resilience is what keeps us here, kneading dough, stirring sauce despite the cracks. I'll hold on to this hope, fragile as it is, and keep pushing for answers for Clara, for us. Marjorie's promise might be real or it might not, but I'll fight to make it true, one pie at a time. The Montana ranch slumbers under a snowy dawn, its fields blanketed in a hush that feels both peaceful and oppressive. Inside the farmhouse, the kitchen lies still, its tiled floor cold underfoot, the air faintly sour with last night's cranberry sauce. A single lamp burns on the counter, its light pooling over the heirloom ring left on the table like a forgotten promise. The fireplace is ash, now, its warmth a memory, and the windows frame a gray sky heavy with more snow. The silence is a weight pressing down on the secrets laid bare by Clara's note. I stand by the window, staring at the falling snow, my fingers curled around the crumpled note in my pocket. Clara's words. Grandma said Lily's her real granddaughter, not me, echo in my mind, each syllable a fresh wound. Clara's upstairs asleep after last night's tears, but I can't rest, not with this betrayal burning through me. Marjorie's favoritism, her cruel dismissal of my daughter, has cracked something fundamental, and I'm drowning in the fallout. Clara shuffles in her nightgown, trailing her hazel eyes puffy from crying. She pauses by the table alone in the dim light, her small frame curling inward as she touches the ring. It's a silent scene, her loneliness laid bare, and it breaks me. She doesn't see me yet, and I watch frozen as she whispers something to the ring, her voice too soft to hear. The abandonment in her posture, the way she seems to shrink, mirrors a pain I know too well. Clara. My voice is soft, heavy with the night's weight. She startles her hand, jerking back from the ring. "Mama," she says, her voice small. "I didn't mean to wake you." "You didn't," I say, crossing to her, my slippers whispering on the floor. I kneel, pulling her close, her body tense against mine. "I'm here, sweetheart. Always." She nods, but her eyes are distant, haunted by Marjorie's words. "Why doesn't Grandma want me?" she whispers, her voice breaking. "What did I do?"